Hey everybody, Rich Lovell, Vacaville Baseball Barn, Master Instructor with Epstein Academy. And I had a comment on a video that I did, and the question was basically, how do I keep my players, or maybe even myself, from lunging during a swing? And I responded back, and then he asked me to do a video. So here it goes right here. I wrestled for years, so anyone that has ever wrestled understands this statement here. Where the head goes, the body follows. And that is so true of even in the swing. If my head goes forward, my body goes forward, and I keep going over the front part of my foot. So what I've done is I've set up my impact bag here. I have my marks on my ground, and I'm going to do a couple of things here. So the back mark from my back foot, and then the front mark to my front foot, that's roughly 31 to 33 inches for me. What I do is I measure the inseam of all my players. That's where I make my marks. The reason why my front foot is slightly angled is when I land my front foot, it lands at a slightly angle and then sometimes opens up just a little bit more. So what do I need to do to keep from lunging forward? I need to keep my head still. And this all comes about when the front heel plants. That's when my head stays still, centered over my body. Even though my nose is forward, and you hear a lot of people say, keep your nose over your belly button. I've discussed this before, is once our head turns towards the pitcher, now my nose is out in front. I want to keep my head centered over my body. Whether I do a stride, and I get myself, and I get into my position here, my launch, pinch my knee in and raise my heel off the ground, this is where my head stops. If I go to a no stride, same thing. My feet are in their position. Everything else on my setup is correct. Once I get into my position where I'm simulating landing on my front toe and I drop my heel, back knee pinches in, my heel releases, I do everything that I normally do in my swing. And all I do is hips fire. I'm into my approach position here. If you'll notice at this point, my head hasn't moved. So again, whether I stride, I get to this point, I turn and I make contact, my head still stays back. Notice I'm not out like this, and this is what you'll see. That's partially caused by the head continuing moving forward, and also a non-firm or flexible front knee where the player just continues going this way. And I see that taught quite a bit, where they're still swinging like this and their knee is moving around, and then they finish. They finish like this, like that's a great thing to do. What you want to do is keep the head centered over your body. Get in my position on the no stride, heel drops, knee pinches in, my back heel releases, hips fire through, turn into my approach position here, into contact, extend and sink back on my back leg. Notice my head did not move forward at all. Slow it down for your players. Have them do that. Even, I'll bring in a little prop that I use here, and I sometimes have a hog crop that I use, but I'll stand back and I'll put this right across the player's forehead if they're doing the no stride. And that'll give them a reminder, do not pass in front of this little bar. Or if they're taking a stride, I'll put it right out to where I think their head should be, and that helps them keep their head back. I'm not telling them to get all their weight on their back leg, because if you'll notice now all my head is way back towards my heel, and I don't want that. I want it standing in the center of my body. Hope this helps you out. Practice it, slow repetitions. You need about 1,500 repetitions in order to change a bad habit. So work on it, and good luck with it.